Origin: Spirits of the Past, also known as Silver-Haired Agito in Japan, is a 2006 anime science fiction film that leaves important lessons about environmental responsibilities we all ought to learn in order to prevent future problems mankind might face because of negligence and abuse of the environment. The movie begins in a dystopian Japan during the 24th century, after the world was destroyed because of the genetically engineered trees grown on the moon, which became sentient and ended up wrecking the moon. After that, the thinking plants found their way to the Earth, turning it into a forest-like wasteland. One day in Neutral City, a place that bridges and at the same time divides the militaristic country of Ragna and the forest, Agito and his friend, Cain, race each other playfully to see who can reach the water hole at the bottom of the city first. Disrupting the sacredness of the place, the tree-like druids guarding it become angry. Agito leaves his friend in the water hole and escapes by himself, but the water takes him to a place he's never been to before. He sees a machine with cryogenic water pods and accidentally wakes up Tula, a young girl who lived in the century when sentient plants find their way to Earth. Because of Tula being revived, the water in the hole starts to drain to the astonishment of Yolda, the town representative, and the others with her, who caught Cain in the sacred place. Meanwhile, the drained water is sucked into the place where Agito and the girl are. To avoid drowning, they swim towards a seemingly safe place, but the gate is closed. Only a raven can open it. A raven is a portable personal electronic device capable of communication and other tasks. Much like a cell phone, if you ask me, only that it is worn like a necklace. Anyway, fortunately, Tula has one of those. She has it scanned and they get inside just in the nick of time. Upon arriving on the surface, Agito proudly shows Tula Neutral City, shocking the girl about the kind of world she has woken up to. Having no choice, she went with the boy to the city. Yolda, knowing that the girl is from the past, explains the current situation of the world to her. She tells Tula that the landscape of the world has changed a lot from their time, and that the forest controls their water supply, which is of course needed by the people, so they try to coexist with the forest to survive. But Ragna uses force to control the forest, and Neutral City, as the name suggests, is the barrier and neutral ground between those two forces. Yolda also tells her about another one of her kind who awoke from his sleep, and is now a Ragna soldier named Shunak. She allows Tula to live in the city, entrusting her to Cain, Minka, and Agito. That night, she turns on her raven, but all she can hear is a busy signal, unaware that Shunak already knows about her existence, and orders his men to find her. While Agito and Cain are off to their salvage duty, Minka and Tula go to the market. The former tells Tula that the city used to be just old ruins, and it's her dad, Agito's dad and Cain's dad, who made it what it is today, after they woke up as silver-haired enhanced beings. She also told her that water is considered a currency there. They encounter a soldier from Ragna selling goods in the market, but the way he looks at Tula is really suspicious. Yolda, on the other hand, asks the tree-like druids why they are draining the water from the wells, to which their mysterious reply is that the forest is hot, so they can't give back the water. Back in the well, Minka tells Tula that they are in the middle of a big water shortage, so they can't take as much water with them as they used to. They carry buckets back to their home, not knowing that at that moment, the druids demand Yolda to give them Tula, because according to them, she's dangerous. Suddenly, her raven rings, but Minka messes with her, so she isn't able to take the call. Minka is curious how the device works, but Tula tells her it only works in the hands of the owner, which pisses her off. She tells her that she will marry Agito and runs away. While taking a short break from their salvage work in one of the ruined buildings, Agito and Cain see Tula headed towards the forest. The former follows her just in time to save her from monstrous vines that attack her. When they are safe and sound, Agito finds Tula crying. She feels confused about what she should do, now that she's awake from a long sleep. He comforts her, telling her about how proud he is of his father and the whole city, and that in time, he's sure she'll grow to like it too. She tells him she likes him and the others, even the air in that place, and that she wants to meet his father, whom he is very proud of. Agito introduces his father to Tula, not knowing that his appearance will shock her, because unlike people from where she came from, his father is like a man transforming into a tree. It turns out that if someone enhanced uses their power too much, they end up like that. Agashi, Agito's father, tells her that if she can't accept the current world as it is better for her to go back to sleep, because the forest is disturbed with her presence. Lost in thought, Tula walks her way home, but suddenly Ragna soldiers headed by Shunak surround her. Agito and Cain witness that, and the latter decides to do something about it. Meanwhile, the druids, who seem to be aware of what's going on, are greatly agitated. Shunak explains to Tula that he too is from the past. He added that he knows her father, Dr. Sakal, because he used to work with him. He also says that he needs her help because only her rabbin is the key to locating the environmental defragmentation system called S-Stock, which can bring the world back to its former state. The tree-like druids send a monstrous plant creature resembling a dragon to attack Shunak and Tula. The former shields the latter, and ultimately he defeats it with the weapons they have. Agito tries to get to his friend, but the Ragna soldier overpowers him. Yolda and Hagen arrive, trying to stop Shunak from taking the girl away. To their dismay, Tula decides to go with the Ragna soldier out of her own free will, because she wants to help him restore the world back to how it was. Agito's father fears that Tula's decision might destroy the forest and therefore take mankind with it in the end. However, since he can no longer help out because of the state he's in, he entrusts the mission to his son. In the train that takes Shunak and Tula back to Ragna, the former tells the girl how he understands the feelings of Yolda and the others in Neutral City. He divulges that he once shared their ideals, even going as far as getting enhanced in order to better serve the city. But the more he knew, the more he felt that everything in that new world is an abomination. He knows they feel betrayed by him when he decides to take the opposite path and try to get the world back into how it used to be. After a long journey, they arrive in Tria City, which is so heavily polluted that they even have to wear gas masks to breathe. Shunak explains that that city is the lifeblood of Ragna because everything is being manufactured there. He also tells her that they try to extract whatever rain that falls on the desert so as to be fully independent from the forest. Shunak added that in his last encounter with Neutral City, he lost his rabbin. That's why he could not continue his search for S-Stock. Tula wonders why her father did not push the button himself when he was still alive. Shunak orders his men to go to the mountainous region near Neutral City to start mining. Meanwhile, Minka sees Agito going to the forest and she worries about him, but her father tells her it is her friend's decision to make. And like their hunch, Agashi's son decides to become enhanced. He asks the forest to grant him powers so as to save Tula, the forest, and the future. When Agito wakes up, his body is already enhanced and his hair the color of silver. He rushes to Ragna to find Tula. With his new powers, he easily slices the weapons and vehicles with just his bare hand. Shunak and Tula meet him when they try to find out what all the commotion is about. His friend is surprised to see his silver hair. Knowing that his hair color signifies that he is enhanced, someone shoots tranquilizer gas on the boy, which makes him fall asleep. When he opens his eyes, he is chained to the wall with gigantic shackles. He and Tula explain their sides, both wanting to have a better world, but they simply do not meet eye to eye. She hopes he will see the benefits of bringing the world back to its past state, unaware that Shunak orders her friend to be killed once they leave. Agito subconsciously summons the power of the forest, which turned his arm into something tree-like. With it, he frees himself from his chains and chases after the train where Tula and the Shunak are. The soldiers attack him, but to no avail. Even the tranquilizer gas does not work because at the speed the train is going, it's just blown off by the wind. The Ragna soldier orders his men to put explosives in the right train, the part where Agito is, before severing it from the rest of the train, making sure Tula does not know what is really going on. One of his subordinates shoots the train cars, which derail them, making them explode and topple over in flames. Yolda becomes aware of what's happening and quickly goes to help Agito. She also warns him not to use his powers too much, because the more he does, the faster he will become more tree-like, just like his father Agashi. She calms him down and his tree-like hand turns back to normal. However, not wanting to waste any more time, he immediately goes back to running after Tula, who is at that time having dreams of her past life and her newly found one when she awoke in this changed world. Finally, they arrive in the volcano where S-Stock is buried. Shunak and Tula enter, but the former does not allow his men to come with him inside, knowing that Ragna wants to use S-Stock only for military purposes. His subordinate gets furious and calls for reinforcements. Tula inserts her rabbin on the cylindrical platform, turning the machine on. A hologram of her father, Dr. Sakal, appears. He explains how their experiment destroyed the Earth and how the survivors from the past who awaken can restore the world by using S-Stock. However, he warns that since the process involves great sacrifice, he is putting the decision in their hands. The perimeter around the volcano shakes, making Tula wonder what is going on. Instead of explaining, Shunak reveals that he was one of his father's researchers back then. He tells her that because of his impatience, he made the growth of the plants quicker than it should be, making them grow out of control, and thereby altering the Earth's landscape and ending human civilization as they know it. He feels that using Estok will bring the Earth back to how it once was, freeing him of the hundreds of years of guilt he has had. He plans to activate the weapon near Neutral City. Tula, realizing that this means wiping out Neutral City, tries to stop him but fails. Ragna soldiers in the train see the whole mountain moving. Agito jumps onto the train, thinking that Tula is there. Shunak's subordinate tells the enhanced kid where his friend is, and reveals that they have also been played by Shunak, who apparently has other plans for Estok. She added that they are mobilizing their forces to destroy the mountain, but reassures Agito that they will delay the attack for as long as they can to give him time to rescue the girl and her raven. Shunak's voice echoes all around as he plays a loop recording of himself, calling all those in cryogenic sleep in Stayfield to wake up and witness the new world he is about to offer them. Agito finds a way to get inside the mountain. He tries to escape with Tula scooped up in his arms, but the former Ragna soldier stops him. Outside, the soldiers launch an attack on the mountain to stop it from heading towards Neutral City. To their surprise, however, the mountain has a defense system that matches Ragna's weaponry. As the battle rages on outside, the enhanced beings duel inside the moving mountain. Feeling Shunak has the upper hand, having more years of experience in using his abilities, Agito uses the power of the forest to transform into a massive tree, absorbing Shunak into his body in order to save his friend. Tula successfully stops Estok, but a self-destruct system that will destroy the mountain and the surrounding areas begins. The volcano spews fireballs, and for the first time in history, the soldiers of Ragna and the citizens in Neutral City share one goal: to save their world. While the enhanced citizens of Neutral City use their abilities to defend their people and homes, the Ragna soldiers find a way to redirect the magma flowing from the volcano. Inside it, Tula refuses to leave without Agito. She cries in front of the tree her friend transformed into, apologizing for what happened and promising never to leave again if he comes back. Like an answered prayer, the tree's giant fruit breaks, revealing Agito in his human form, a gift from the forest, believing that he will serve as the peacekeeper between humans and trees. He awakes and tells her what his dad and the forest explained to him, that they are all connected to one another, and there's a way for humans and the forest to coexist peacefully. Holding a flower in his hand, he summons power from his dad and the forest, so that he and Tula can escape the burning mountain safely. Agito runs amidst the eruption going on, with Tula on his back. With the borrowed power from the forest, his dad and everyone else, he is able to do the impossible, dodge volcanic debris, and jump instinctively from one falling rock to another in order to get his friend back to safety, making her admire him even more. With the eruption and the Estok threat over, Agito returns with Tula in Neutral City, welcomed by their friends, Cain and Minka. Realizing that bringing back the past without sacrificing the present is an impossibility, Tula throws her raven into a deep pit, letting go of the past she used to know, and embracing the present with Agito, her friends and forest.